Well, hello and welcome everyone to another beautiful day here at Live at the Waterhole. My name is Amy and I will the show today. So a very warm welcome to you all and looking forward to see what the day holds for us at the Waterhole across various locations. And this after starting off here at Old Donyo Lodge in Kenya, with some butterflies that are fluttering by, as well as a ring-necked dove you can just see to the left of your screen there. A reminder to everyone at home watching that this is, of course, a live and interactive show. So please do make sure that you say hello to me. Let me know where you're watching from, what you're hoping to see this afternoon, or if you're just enjoying the show or want to say hi, please do that as well. And you can do that through a variety of different ways, whether it's on the Wild Earth website, on the app, or you can join the conversation on X using the hashtag WildEarth. Now this waterhole, I think, has definitely been filled up. If anyone was watching yesterday, it really became quite a small puddle right in the center, unless they had a really big downpour, which is also a possibility, but I do know that this waterhole is fed. But maybe there was quite a big shower that came through and topped it up. And yes, there are some butterflies there, very bright yellow as well as a white one. I think there are quite a few brown veined whites floating around, and then some of the yellow winged butterflies as well. It's a bit tricky to see all the detail, but those are some of the more common species that we see. I've also seen here, they looked like a pansy, yellow pansy that was hopping around there in the back, or should I say fluttering about in the back there. Could also be cloudless sulfur. Sulfur is often a word used to describe butterfly coloration. It is sort of this very neon orangey color, hard to miss. Now there is a emerald spotted wood dove, a different species of dove. Very nice to see it out in the open. It's a little bit smaller in size than the likes of the ring-necked dove, and you can see that beautiful emerald spot on the wing there, that iridescence just catching some of the light as it walks on by. Carly S.A., you're asking, do birds feed on butterflies? It depends on the bird. Something like a dove would not be feeding on butterflies, but at the end of the day, a butterfly is a type of insect. So there are some that are poisonous or are not good for animals to eat. But I don't. Oh wow, that bird is really having a serious drink there. It's sticking its whole face into the water. Well, usually it's just a little bit of the beak. But I think most certainly that there are some birds, insect-eating birds, that would catch a butterfly, depending on its size, of course. Looks like some beautiful, superb starlings have arrived now, with a few other birds mixed in between. Well, this has been a lovely start, everyone, here at Oldonyo, and it's so nice to see these starlings saying hello to us. But I think we are going to head over to Mabula and see some baboons that have come to say hello. Troop of baboons are always so entertaining. Plenty to look at. Their mannerisms are always so funny and quite fascinating. And I think there's quite a bit of grooming going on here. They all have sort of paired off, each going through each other's fur, trying to find any little insects or ticks or parasites, and then they can eat those. Sometimes using their fingers, sometimes actually using their mouth, their lips to pull off. And they're meticulous when it comes to doing this for each other. Hi, Wittridge. You say good morning, Amy. You are watching from San Diego in California. Well, a very warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for joining us. It's great to have viewers from all over the world, and I do hope that you enjoy this relaxing time with the Live at the Waterhole show. Ah, there's the water. I was wondering how close these baboons were actually to the watering hole itself, but you can see some have come out there on the right hand side now. And this grooming forms a very important part of this troop's hygiene, but also their connections and bonds as a group, as a family. So it's all part of them keeping close knit. Oh, there's a warthog. I was wondering what was sounding like it was munching away very close to us. I wonder if it's trying to eat the reeds here. Now that screeching you could hear are the baboons, and often the younger ones, if they being a little bit naughty, playing with each other, or maybe there's a bit of disciplining going on, they'll squeal like that or screech. I can't say that I've ever seen a warthog eating the reeds at a waterhole. I think that's what he's done there. Very, very interesting. Those baboons are sort of all grouped together there on the right, it looks like. Ah, there is another warthog on the far side of the waterhole. I can just see it come out there. In fact, not just one, but a whole little family of warthogs, it looks like. It's interesting they're digging there, but I think they're trying to get to the roots of the grass or the reeds. It looks like they're definitely eating something, and warthogs are particularly good at that. They can go down on their knees, like you can see their front legs are bent, meaning their heads can get a little bit lower, they can get more leverage, and then with their very flat snouts and their tusks, they're able to dig out what they need. And it looks like they are munching away at something very delicious that they're enjoying there. Hans, you would like to know why do warthogs have piglets so often? So generally, the time that warthogs would have piglets is anyway sort of the summertime, September, all the way through to March, even up to May, possibly. You might get the odd piglets outside of that time, but generally, any time from September to March is generally when we see those piglets being born. And depending on their survival, that cow may have more piglets or not. What we generally see is sometimes the female together. So if you see a female running around with like 8 piglets, it's usually another female is around, and they each have 4, one has 3 and one has 5. But it's because warthog piglets are so vulnerable, and they also fall prey to a lot of things out here in the bush. They're easy targets for a lot of animals, anything from snakes to birds of prey, as well as some of the larger predators. It's an easy snack for them, including things like wild dogs and leopards. And the smaller cats like serval or caracal that can also hunt a baby warthog. So their production therefore has to be able to compensate for that, and therefore they have a large amount of piglets in a litter. That was the word I was trying to think of earlier, a litter of piglets. And yes, so that is why they do tend to have larger litters of up to about 8 piglets or so. But generally the survival at most females that I see with a little group of piglets is 3 to 4 maximum that survive out of that. So you're looking maybe at about 40% survival rate or so, around that mark. Well, this has been awesome to spend some time with some warthogs. It's very cool for the variety. But I think we are going to head over to Jamala and see if we can catch up with the girlies. Well, the skies are beautiful and clear here at Madikwe. Looks like the elephants are still around, which is wonderful news. It's always a great spot to just spend some time with these herds of elephants. Jason, good to hear from you again. You say hi, Amy. You're watching and enjoying the show as always. You do hope to get a glimpse and see some of the hyraxes that are lounging around at their waterfront real estate in Stony Point. They are living the dream. They do have access to some very expensive real estate, very high valued property there at Stony Point, looking out right on the rocks over the water. And you're right, they do live a very cushy life, should I say. Now also in the winter, just trying to absorb as much warmth as possible for as what we refer to them as in South Africa as dassies, but also known as rock hyraxes. And interestingly enough, now that we're looking at elephants, the rock hyraxes relatives to elephants, and they're both actually grouped in the same foot structural category under the Mammalia group, which I found very fascinating when I was learning about all these things. And they are both near ungulate. So when we get to foot structures in mammals, oh my word, poor little one, I think you're a bit heavy. Oh, shame. I think they are just playing. Luckily they're in some soft ground. But when it comes to foot structure, there's plantigrade, digitigrade, and then ungulates, which is all cloven hoof mammals. And then under that we also get near ungulates. So when it comes to an elephant and a rock hyrax or a dassie, they have a very interesting foot structure. It's not quite toes, but it's not quite hooves. They do have toenails, we can see that on their feet, but they're not quite a keratin hoof, that's a split hoofed animal or anything like that. They're not quite like a rhino or a hippo. They have their very own unique feet. And both hyraxes and elephants fall into that near ungulate category. Jojo, you've actually asked a very interesting question. Thank you for that. You say since hyraxes are related to elephants, do they have any behavioral similarities? It's a good question. I don't think I have personally spent enough time with dassies or hyraxes to have noted anything behavioral wise, other than the fact that they are social animals, which is the same. So dassies live in groups. There's a territorial male and his females that would live together, which is different from an elephant's social structure, but they are still social animals. So that is something that they do have in common. They also use different vocalizations to communicate, which is also the same as elephants. But I will actually check that, Jojo, see if I can find out any. Oh, there's a little elephant running down to the water now. It's just adorable. Jojo, I will find out if there's anything else other than sort of the social aspect as well as the vocalizations. If there's any other social behaviors that are similar. But as far as I know, that would be, for me, what stands out as being the most similar. There's a little elephant by that fallen over log. It seems to, I don't know if it's trying to bite it or just rest its trunk on it. A scratch on its top lip. Well, this is fun, everyone. How nice to see these two having a bit of a pool party as well as a play in the two young bulls, I'm sure. Picasso, hello. Great to hear from you. Thank you for your question. You'd like to know how many toes, front and back, do the dussies have? Well, it's the same as the elephants. Although we don't really, I suppose, refer to the elephant's toes, but if we look at their actual foot structure, it's the reason why the dussies and the elephants are living relatives, and it's based on their bone structure, particularly within the feet, and that would be 4 toes in the front and 3 in the back. And you can see with elephants they have 4 toenails in the front and 3 in the back, and inside their foot there would be 4 sort of toe bones, if you want to put it like that, coming out, with the fatty pad protection around it. So that's why if we compare it to the dusty, we're looking at the same foot structure, which is unique to those 2 animals. Well, from some elephants to some more elephants, let's head over to Rosie's pan to see the ellies that have arrived there for a drink. What a lovely scene it is here at Rosie's pan. And we're listening to the sounds of elephants drinking and the water splashing, falling back into the waterhole. Diane, good to hear from you. Thank you for joining us once again. You say good afternoon, Amy. Love the Ellie action. I could watch them all day. I think many of us do agree with you, Diane. It looks like these three are just having a leisurely drink here at the pan, which is so wonderful to see. And it's very relaxing, very calming. It looks as though these are three young elephant bulls, neither of them being too big just yet. Probably three younger ones who have found some company within each other. It's always quite a daunting thing to be pushed out of your natal herd, and often young bulls like this will tend to spare them. Perhaps they were even pushed out at similar times or even come from the same original natal herd. But often we do actually see sort of within groups like this one much older bull who the others have sort of chosen as a mentor, in inverted commas, and they sort of learn the ways of a older bachelor elephant. Anna, you'd like to know how much water the elephants can hold in their trunks. So, of course, Anna, this depends on the size of the elephant. So a mature male versus a mature female. The male's trunk is, of course, a lot larger. These elephants we're looking at, these males, similar in size to a fully grown female. And that would be anywhere from 8 to 10 liters approximately. Now, they usually don't hold that much in their trunk every single time. Often their drinks will just be a few liters at a time that they'll suck up and put into their mouths. Julie B, hello, welcome. You've asked such an interesting question. I absolutely love it. You want to know if young elephants get teething pains, children. Now, Julie, I will have to do more research on it, but from what I do know about most animals that get teeth like humans do, well, the same similar process, they have to sort of break through the gum, that it is the similar painful process that mammals go through, with the teeth actually having to come through the gum if they're not born with a full set, and those teeth have to come through. And with elephant calves, they would also have the same similar sort of teething pain, itchiness, irritation that comes with those teeth pushing through. But it's such an interesting thought, Julie, and that's sort of the information that I know. But I would like to read up more about it now that you've asked that specific question, because it's not something that you often think of. Except my niece is starting to teeth at the moment, and I just recently saw her, and she is, you can see, just wanting to chew on something to just satisfy that feeling on the gum that she's experiencing at the moment. So I completely understand what you're talking about. Also something that was quite interesting to me as well, which I started to recently think about, and I'm trying to find out exactly more information about it, is when it comes to elephants' teeth, they sort of have what we refer to as a conveyor belt of teeth, 6 different sets of teeth that they'll go through in their life. And sort of as they wear down and get to the end of that sort of lifespan of that set of teeth, the new teeth will move in. And it's sort of a process like that. And I believe the others fall out. And I would love to know what that must feel like for this teeth to be moving, if they're constantly moving slowly, until, you know, the last set is the final set that stays in their mouth until they die. If it's something that's painful, if it's something that they even notice, if those elephant teeth, you know, when do they sort of drop out? What does that feel like for the elephant? I don't know if we'll ever have the answers for these questions, but their teeth are such a fascinating part of an elephant. Jeffrey, you want to know if the matriarch of elephant herds usually walks in the front or the back? Jeffrey, I don't think there's a strict rule. To be completely honest with you, I've seen it both way around. But usually, just based on I tend to see the matriarch sort of come at the end of the group. Often you see all the elephants, and then right at the end, oh, there's the matriarch. And you can clearly see she has the most pronounced forehead. She's the largest female, but that isn't sort of a strict rule. So it can be, she can even be in the middle of the herd, to be honest, as long as she can communicate with the group. But don't think it matters too much where she is. been great to be here with these elephants enjoying a drink here at Rosie's Pan. But how about we have a little bit of change of scenery and head over to Vic Falls, where there are some birds around the waterhole. Now, well, here we are, everyone, once again at this beautiful waterhole at Vic Falls Safari Lodge, and there is quite a variety happening here. We've got some pelicans, there's yellow-billed storks, and there's also a bird, a heron, type of heron on the left there. That looks very unique. Could even be an egret. Now, for me, this is quite exciting to do birding up in northern Zimbabwe because it's somewhere that I still need to get to. I have been to Victoria Falls before, but unfortunately it was before my love of birding really took off. So I need to visit again, and there's some very special species that we can see at this site. So I'm just wondering if this sort of heron / egret could perhaps be something unique. Just in front of that yellow-billed stork. It looks quite dark, and the things that come to mind is something like a slaty egret, for example, which would be very cool. We were talking last time we were here about the two different species of, oh, there is a marabou stork. There's a few of them around in the background as well. Oh, is that a saddle-billed stork as well on the left there? Oh, wow, this is really quite the variety here today. But the pelicans, both the great white pelican and pink-backed pelican, it looks like possibly both species are here. The pink-backed being a lot more grey, and the great white being much brighter and white in colour. And it is indeed a saddle-billed stork there on the left-hand side. Quite comical when they walk. These pelicans. I almost feel like the pelican's legs are a bit too short for their bodies in comparison. Leo, great question. You want to know if pelicans migrate? No, they do not. They usually are resident to an area. However, they do move according to sort of water availability. So they, of course, their diet consists of fish mostly, and they would need to be in areas where that was available to them. So whether it's inland lakes or estuaries or waterholes, they may, if something dries up or the fish population gets to a point where they can't have enough to feed upon, they will then move. So, but it's not a strict migration. If we think of other birds that travel across continents from one area to another, for the pelicans, they are fairly common residents with something that you can see quite a lot of them in one area, and they do move within a certain limitation, but you wouldn't refer to that as migration. There's a small hooded vulture closest to us on the left hand side that's come for a drink as well. Oh, there's a second one. And this one on the left is actually quite nice to see why they call the hooded vulture. It's almost got like they've got a little hoodie or beanie that's been to their heads. And there's a white-backed vulture just to the left of them. Now you can see how much larger that species is in size. Bush Brother, hello, thanks for joining us, and thank you for sending through your question. You want to know if vultures prey on each other? Not that I know of, Bush Brother. From what I've seen from many carcasses that I've been around, and also just vultures interacting, they are scavengers. The only time I think that they would prey on each other is if there was already, if the vulture had died. Possibly. because they are scavengers, they would take any form of meat or protein that would be available to them. I haven't personally seen that happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if it has happened before. But in terms of hunting each other or preying on each other, no. They're not the happiest to share carcasses together. They often do give each other a bit of cheek and chase each other around, and it's quite entertaining to see vultures do that. They sometimes get into fights, but over carcasses and things like that. But when it comes to actually preying on one another, no, that's not something that I've seen vultures do. Well, it's been very cool to actually spend some time here with all the birds at Vic Falls Safari Lodge, everyone. This has been fantastic. And a few Ellies seen at a few different places, but we are going to head back to Rosie's Pan to see the Ellies that are drinking over there. I think these are the same three. The ones just moved all the way over to in front of the camera. I almost feel like I need to whisper. These elephants are so close to the camera. All right, everyone, some exciting news. There is an elephant at Oldonyo, so let's head over there and see who has arrived for a drink. Oh, wow. Look at this, everyone. Our good friend, One Ton the elephant, and a giraffe in the background. This is one of the most impressive bulls that we see regularly on the show. Catherine, good to hear from you. Thank you for sending your message through. You said so good to see him and that the infection in his tusk looks healed now. Well, I wasn't aware of that. It's something I hadn't seen per se in the last few days of seeing him a few times. I hadn't noticed any swelling or anything. So, like you say, if there was an infection, it is looking very much healed now, which is fantastic news. There's something that does happen with these animals living out here in the wild, cuts or anything like that. can get infected, and that can lead to a lot of pain, swelling, even lead to the loss of a tusk. But I'm very glad to see that it looks like it's healed, and it doesn't look like he's in too much pain or being bothered by it at all. Very much a happy elephant bull at the moment. And here is a friend to join him at the watering hole. He's going to walk right past us, moving out the way for another one who's coming. This is so cool. And absolutely such massive tusks on 1 ton, and they are beautiful creatures indeed, all 3 of them. Just absolutely massive animals. With the white clouds in the background, you can see all the flies buzzing around these elephants. And no wonder they do sort of shake their head and constantly flicking that tail, flapping the ears. It's chosen an interesting spot to rest its trunk. I wonder how the other one feels about that. Clearly not too bothered at the moment. Maybe they're playing a game of how long can I rest my trunk on your head before you get cross with me? Monica, hello. You say hi to everyone, and you say it's beautiful to see the Ellies at the watering hole. How old is the big bull? So 1 ton, I believe, is estimated to be about 50 years old, with a lifespan of elephants being anywhere between 60 to 70 years. So, yeah, he is very much mature, with the length of those tusks giving also an indication he's nearing the end of sort of his lifespan. And 2 on the right, also large, and their tusks are smaller. Not necessarily that they will become tuskers. We were chatting about it the other day, with tusks being quite heavily reliant on genes, but they will be a little bit younger, probably somewhere between 30 to 40 years. Well, I do apologize for that, everyone. We lost the feed there in Kenya, but it was still a wonderful sighting. If we do get it back before the end of the show, we'll be sure to head there if the elephants are still around. But for now, we have arrived at Jamala, and there are some more elephants here that are enjoying the waterhole. We are still here with these elephants at Jamala, everyone, and they have been slowly moving off, some of them. However, some are still around. There's two young bulls that have been enjoying a bit of tussling back and forth here in the water. Alright everyone, good news. Looks like our on your feed is back up and running, so we're going to head back over to Kenya and see some elephants over there. Now apparently these are the same two that were here with 1 ton. I think he has moved off, but they've been having a bit of a go at each other. Apparently it was the one that was resting, the one on the left was resting his trunk on the head of the one on the right. They do look quite similar in size. They're both displaying their penises at the moment as well, which is also a bit of a dominance thing for elephants to do. So clearly trying to decide who's boss here. Sanjeev, it's true. We often see a lot of antics come out to play when elephants are around water. I do think it brings out their playful side, especially those sort of elephant herds and young bulls that we see around Jamala. It does seem to bring out their full range of antics, as you say. You might hear something here. And you can see now how a puncture wound can occur with the tusks being pushed into the skin of the elephant, maybe creating a wound done with enough force. Well, that one's just seemed to push that one around and say, all right, well, now I'm going. Those particular elephant tusks are quite short and stubby, but quite wide. You can see how far they're coming out on either side of the trunk. Very interesting. Quite curved forward as well. And Canine girl, so good to hear from you. Thank you for saying hi and sending through your comment. You say these gorgeous eddies make you forget about the miserable weather. Lol. Well, Canine girl, I'm not sure exactly where you are at the moment or what the weather is like, but I assume it's quite miserable, whether that's rain or snow or just very cold and wet. But here in South Africa, well, in the Lowveld where I am, it's actually the best time of year, the most consistently beautiful days, one day after the next. But I'm glad that the elephants and the sightings today have helped you forget about the terrible weather that you are having at the moment. Well, now that these elephants have left the waterhole here, let's head back over to Tau and see what's happening over there. And some more elephants here who have come down for a drink of beautiful herd. We have been spoiled over the last few days that I've been on the show with Ellie's. Well, Catherine, I'm so glad that you have Wild Earth and some good books to keep you company through, you say, another big thunderstorm that's passing by wherever you are in the world. Now, usually we see quite a variety of different species around here. I do see some movement in the tree line. I'm not sure if that's more elephants, but often sometimes we see zebras. I think that is actually a zebra moving there. And wildebeest as well, impalas out in the open. But with it cooling down, it's not getting as high temperatures as in summer. There seems to be perhaps more and more movement around the water holes with it going into winter and sort of other water sources drying up. So hopefully coming now into these winter months going forward until the first rains come again towards the end of the year, you'll see some special sightings around on Live at the Waterhole. Puma, hello. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you've enjoyed the show today. You say, another lovely show. Thank you, Amy. It's an absolute pleasure. Oh, this elephant's lost his one tusk. Looks like. Got an old individual there. He's also got quite a large growth there on his front left leg. Looks like an elbow granoma. Sort of fatty tissue that collects around the joint. Tends to happen in older individuals. And it has been a wonderful show today. Quite a bit of variety, although lots of elephants, but a few other things in between, including warthogs and baboons right in the beginning. We had a cameo of a giraffe behind the elephants drinking in Kenya. But just a lovely, relaxing time. I hope all of you at home have enjoyed that as well. You can see how much of a difference the actual tusk being in the face broadens that area around the trunk, you can see how his right tusk is completely missing. So I don't even think there's a stump left in there, because then you would still see that sort of enlargement of that skin. So either he never had that tusk to begin with, or that, like we were chatting about earlier, maybe there was an infection and that tusk was lost, or it was broken off and fell out. But it looks like he's only got that really one solid, very thick but short tusk. So I would say this individual also possibly over the 50-year mark. Canine girl, without a doubt, you say you can always rely on Eddies to make your day. They certainly have made my last 3 days. It's been so wonderful to spend some time with them on Live at the Waterhole. And fingers crossed they'll make my day again tomorrow. I will be back with you again for another show tomorrow, the same time, same place, right here on Wild Earth for Live at the Waterhole. Now remember everyone, straight after this we will be going straight into the On Safari show, where we look back and have a see what has been some of the highlights over the last 24 hours or so of the live drives, and then straight into your sunset safari, which I'm sure you're all very much looking forward to. So please do stay tuned to Wild Earth for that. Well, everyone, it's come to that time for me to bid you farewell. I do hope that you've all enjoyed today as much as I've enjoyed being here with you. And to everyone who said hello and sent through your comments and your questions, as always, it's so appreciated. It's so nice to hear from you all watching at home. And I'm glad we could have some good chats today. Some great questions as well. Some fantastic thoughts and ideas and things that we could chat and think about, especially with regards to elephants. So look forward to that continuing tomorrow as well. Mercedes, you say, thanks Amy and the Wild Earth crew for another great show. See everyone back here tomorrow. Indeed, Mercedes, thanks so much for that message as well. We always appreciate when viewers say hello and thank us. It is very much appreciated indeed. All right, everyone. Like I said, I'll be back with you all tomorrow, so please do make sure that you tune in for another Live at the Waterhole show. And straight after this, as I mentioned, on safari, followed by your sunset safari. So from myself and the team here at Live at the Waterhole, we do wish you a pleasant day or evening ahead, depending where you are in the world, and I'll see you again tomorrow.
Good afternoon, and welcome here to the tent here on this wonderful Saturday afternoon in Djuma Private Game Reserve. My name is Steve. I'm joined by Gert on camera, and this is On Safari.